Welcome to the Leadership Kit.
Whoa! Open your ears.
What's going on, leaders? We are in the middle of our multiplication series, and we're taking a break right now because this week we had the honor of sitting down for a talk with the mayor of our city, Mayor Bill Mutz. We got so much value out of the conversation we had with him. We expected to do like a 10 or 15-minute interview, and it was just such an incredible conversation. He is a wealth of knowledge and wisdom. He added so much value to us, and we're going to share our conversation with you. So if you're super excited about the series we've already started, don't worry, we're going to get back to it. So for the next couple of weeks, make sure you take the time to hear from our good friend, Mayor Bill Mutz. And it is an honor to be here with you. Thank you so much for coming on.
It's a treat. I appreciate you doing it.
The first question I have is, what is it that you do that you're winning at? Like the things that you do best that have the biggest impacts?
I think you win in life a lot by being teachable. And the reason that I start there, which is a little self-focused, is the fact that if you're not teachable, then you come to deliver solutions and you come to make edicts. And I think we don't win a lot that way. That's dictators win effectively that way by being efficient,
Right.
but they don't last long. And
Right.
and it's not about even trying to last long. It's about, what do I do that can be different from what I might have done even 2 years ago? Well, it's what I learn in the meantime. So I expect every day to be a day that I'm going to learn something. Teachability is a hugely important asset to winning.
Being coachable is being able to learn something you already knew. You know?
Yeah, and it's just do coaches for a second. Coaches take kids who already know what they can do, what they can see them do, and make them do more. And so why is that? That's because they push them farther. They make sure that they're getting rid of maybe a poor habit that causes them to waste a little effort here, so they can fine tune them. But the capacity is in the person. So why do we have coaches? Because there's more that we can gain, more that we can do all the time, rather than the way we woke up. I want to go to bed with more capacity than I woke up with.
Right.
I feel like being teachable, it's one of the most important qualities you can have as a leader. And it goes even deeper than being able to learn and get better at leading. But like part of it is, if you're not teachable and you don't receive input from the people around you, they're never going to feel like they have buy-in.
Mm-hmm.
They're never going to have buy-in. They're never going to be able to own the thing that they're backing you on.
That's correct.
And as a leader, we don't just want employees. We want people who are driving the ship with us and helping us.
And the other side of that coin is, they don't expect to be listened to.
Mm-hmm.
They've learned that people don't really care what they think. They assume that. And especially, I have a daughter-in-law who is our quietest. She came from a single family home, and she was a single child. And so no brothers and sisters, and then married into our family, which is, this is that picture of our family right behind you there.
Yeah.
The scope is larger in our family. And so when she married in, one of the things you have to do if you want to finish a story with our family is you have to compete for the space, to finish that story, among other interruptions. The minute you would interrupt her, she was done with her story. And she read that as, I got interrupted because it wasn't really pertinent or valuable to anyone else. And that wasn't the case. This is a survival or a controlled chaos way of living. And so you just have to re-up when there's another pause that you can finish your story in. And we learned that we really had to drop back. And I'm sensitive to when people get cut off anyway. So you go back and you say to that person, hey, finish what you were telling us a minute ago. And they hesitate and look around like, do you really mean that? And you're saying, no, really, we do. And there's wonderful insights, but people get snuffed quickly, and that's because they don't expect us to care.
Right.
Yeah, you add so much value to your people when you give them a voice.
You bet. You bet. And so it starts with your own expectations. I don't know everything. I am dependent on other people. I don't bring a full set of gifts to this opportunity and collaboration. It needs all of our voices, and it needs all our minds, and we need to expect to share that information.
In unity, to realize that nobody can do everything.
Correct.
But everybody can do something.
Correct.
So together we can do anything. like whatever we're all working towards when we pick a goal, and have that and allow other people to use their strengths, and we get out of the way sometimes.
Right.
To let our people carry the ball.
And it means you also have to know where you don't have strengths.
Right.
Can I do one more teachable? Just one more
Oh,
teachable?
absolutely.
Please. Okay. Honoring everybody.
Man.
Honoring everybody. So that's an easy thing to say and say, okay, yeah, that's great. Let's do that. Let's just honor everyone. We don't. We make decisions all the time on people we want to listen to and people we don't want to listen to, input we want to receive and input we don't want to receive, people that have more value to us in some way than another. I remember listening to Erwin McManus talk about that when he was in school, he felt like he was a D student, and there were these C people and B people and the A people, and they really inherently had more value. He talked about the fact it took him a while to grow up into his 20s and 30s before he realized there's no difference between, God doesn't grade any people. Every person he creates has equal value. Our Constitution is created this way, but we don't do it up here. So how do you honor everyone? You have to make sure that you're listening to all sides of stories that you don't necessarily know all the sides of. And it doesn't mean that we can be exhaustive about every little issue of life, but for big picture issues, to get the right kind of scope on things that matter to people, certainly decisions we're going to make as a city, you've got to know what the facts are. And you've got to know if there were another set of facts as well. And when you do that, you will ultimately, pursuing a true north, end up honoring everyone in the process by making decisions that accomplish that. So it's not only about resources, it's not only about needs, but it's more importantly about whether or not people are being honored in the process. You honor people, they know it, they can feel it. And the same cynicism that can exist from not expecting to be anybody to care about what I'm saying can also care about no one cares about how this hurts me. So when we've really worked to try and identify, well, how do we keep from hurting people? And is there a way for us to do that? Or is there a way for us to even raise them up through the process of this? And I will tell you, as controversial as it may be, that was a big part of moving the monument in our city, was to try and find the course that could accomplish that.
And the monument was?
We have a Confederate monument, we're in the South, and it was in the center of our park downtown, and we moved it to Veterans Park.
Nice.
Because for the people who knew that it was for honoring soldiers, Veterans Park's the most appropriate place for it to be with all of our war dead. For the people who knew that there was another reason that monument was put up, and there was another story on the backside of that, which was a statement of keeping the African Americans out of our downtown, that was hurtful. And retaining it there said, we don't care. It's our history. We don't move it. We don't change it. Well, we decided as a city not to remove it, but rather to move it. And so that way you can honor everyone. That's a case where you take it away from a statement that could have been made, and if it's all about our soldiers, then it's where it ought to be.
Put it in
Right.
proper context. Yeah, I love that it's not an either or situation
Correct.
for you. That there's always another option.
And we figure out how we can do that. And so if our goal in anything that we're doing, at any job we ever do, is to honor everybody in the room, we don't make fun of people. Sarcasm has to take, Johnny Wooden said sarcasm is the lowest form of humor. It's really fun to do, okay? But it is the lowest form of humor because you're almost always getting that laugh at somebody else's expense. So you just quit doing the things that are dishonoring. You don't talk about life scenarios. You don't use jokes that are dishonoring about any groups of people because that's just a perpetuation of that same kind of thought. And so I think one of the ways that you're winning is that that's not something you do in one environment and not in another. It's just the way you think and live.
We told you it was going to be good, and it is. We hope that you found value in what you saw today and that you come back and watch the next 2 weeks because we're going to be hearing more from Mayor Bill. Thanks for liking, commenting, and subscribing. We'll see you guys next Monday.